So IGN just recently released another new video of Lords of the Fallen, and I am genuinely happy to say that a lot of people that commented on my other videos about Lords of the Fallen were actually correct. I'm really happy about it. It seems like they've fixed or at least tweaked the small little things that I complained about. So enough with the intro, let's get into the video. So first things first, I actually want to dive in on all these small things that I thought looked really cool in this video. We got a small glimpse at some of the really cool looking bosses and armor in the game. Some bosses I haven't personally seen yet, and some armor sets I haven't seen either. And of course, we get a few new weapons thrown in as well. Like on every video I talk about Lords of the Fallen, all these things look beautiful, they look awesome, they look gruesome. The very small detail that this dev company went through for the bosses, the armor sets, and the new weapons that we see, they all just look so damn good. Like, I can't believe how well and just how well designed everything is with small details. Something that was kind of small but pretty cool that I noticed, it looks like when you parry or stamina break an enemy and other enemies try to attack you while you're doing this, it either looks like they get hit or it looks like they go to a stun state, which I think is really cool. It helps to not accidentally get pummeled as soon as the animation is over. Something cool that they dived deeper into about this was weapon arts. It sounds like each individual weapon will receive its own cool weapon art style. It's not exactly a weapon art, I don't believe anyways. I heard about this a little bit in some other videos I watched, but it looked like from how they were explaining it, a lot of weapons will have a unique special attack, or not a lot, all of them from what this guy said.
Well, the multi-attack, the multi-hit, and that creates this very amazing looking hits.
I will be going deeper into that and also other things about weapons further on in the video. But here's one thing I really deeply want to touch on, and I just want to make sure that everyone knows this fact that they are stating. This team seems like they genuinely care what we think about their game.
One of the first thing that we've done when we start the game is to address feedback for the previous game. In the previous games, folks felt the combat was too rigid, or otherwise not as, you can't use it in more ways than one. There's just a few abilities, put it on top of we need to expand the man.
Yeah.
So that's how we got the ball.
We don't want a checkbox, like magic, done. No. Magic, how do we properly integrate it? Like, same with Umbral actually, or everything we integrated in the game, right? It's not just
a numbered game.
Exactly.
Now, of course, they could be lying, but I genuinely feel like they're not. Like, they're actually telling us the truth, that they want to create a game that is fun first, that the main focus of their game is just to have fun.
You have this huge tool set of things to have fun with. Like, just experiment.
And honestly, you could just tell by the way that they were talking and about how much they genuinely cared about this game, how much energy they were putting into it.
So for the fluidity as well, sorry to harp on this.
Oh, it's okay.
I love it.
I watched so many of these dev interviews where it does seem like they're into the game. Obviously, they're helping create it, but it's almost like it's a painted, like it's a mask that they're wearing, that it's not actually what they want to say. These guys, the way they express how they feel about this game and the emotions that kind of bring up, and you can see it like light up their face. It seems very genuine that they actually care about what we're saying. They actually care about making a game that's good and at the forefront fun, which is so damn rare in today's gaming.
You can cosplay her. We added the tail to the armor, so you look like
her stuff.
Because it seems like the majority of these companies only care about getting your money. Now, of course, this obviously makes sense because they're a company, so of course they have to think of the bottom line. But when I was growing up in the golden years of gaming, which I consider those the golden years, maybe these are your golden years, but I'm talking Halo 1, 2, 3, all those really fantastic fun games, all the just amazing Call of Duties. And then of course you have other games like Dead Rising, and there's so many to list in the 360 era of gaming, Oblivion, Skyrim, where you can tell the devs genuinely, obviously they cared about money, but the devs genuinely cared at the forefront, having fun and making their game awesome. They took risks, they tried new mechanics, they tried new things. And I feel like that started to disappear in modern gaming. I mean, look at Baldur's Gate. The people that created Baldur's Gate 3 obviously care about their audience and they care about their customers because they know, bottom line is, if they upset their customers, they're going to lose them, and they don't want that. They've built a respect with them. They built a really good relationship almost with their customers. And so of course, with this current drama going on with that game, they release it and they say, no, this is a full complete game. We believe in giving people real gaming experiences, not making them pay $20 for one skin, not making them pay hundreds of dollars for all this cool stuff. No, we're just gonna put it in the game because that's where it deserves to be. It's something that's very rare, and I'm not saying that these guys are at that level. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that you can see the small little ember of that level in these guys when they're talking about their game. They even mentioned that the first thing they did when they were creating this game was to get the feedback from their other game. And I love that they mentioned the things that I complain about with the original Lords of the Fallen, the clunkiness, the very stiff play style. You can only really use like 2 weapons because everything else just plays terribly. You can genuinely tell that they care, and I'm 100% down with that, and it has made me very hopeful for this. And I'm gonna be so damn bummed if this game comes out and it's not what they promised. However, having said that, I do believe that it will be what they promised. I really do. Like I said, I know I was worried in my last video. That has completely changed. The things I 100% see that they improved on is the sound. The sound does sound better, like you guys were saying. Something else that looks better, it looks like your weapons finally have that weight that I was looking for. Even the smaller weapons, when you hit someone enough, they staggered, like they should. Something I really want to talk about, and I think it was one of the coolest things that they said in this whole entire video, and that is this right here.
So and also we want the fantasy of the players, taking the magic from the creatures that they see. We wanted the player to seize that ability for himself.
Yeah, actually, you tapped on something important. Like anything you see in the game world, you can use it. Like any gear from any enemy, any magic they use, anything.
Essentially anything that you see an enemy use, being spells, being melee, being even their armor sets. He says you can cosplay as any person. Now, of course, this could have been a hyperbolic statement because, I mean, you just do that. Sometimes you just do hyperbolic statements, but I thoroughly believe it was not a hyperbolic statement. I believe he was being honest. Any gear that they are using or have will drop and you can wear them. And from how it sounds like you can use any spell that they have too, which is super cool. I'm wondering if you can do any of their special weapon arts, because I'm assuming some of these maybe mini bosses will have certain ways of attacking. I don't know if you can do that. It would be cool if you could. And this right here, this is something a lot of games try their hardest to do, but sometimes it's just difficult to implement, and I really hope it's implemented correctly in this.
How to implement magic or integrate magic in combat was a bit like, you could say like the good old Star Wars movies, you know, like you see the guy like taking the lightsaber and then force push somebody and then suddenly, oh, you know, like you're like, oh, this is so cool.
The fluid change between magic and melee. Like you guys saw, he was describing Star Wars and how you're slashing a lightsaber and then all of a sudden you do a force push. Type of fighting mechanic would be super cool in this game, and I genuinely can't wait for it. It sounds super cool. I know I'm just saying everything is cool, but like this is my honest opinion on it all. And it seems like magic in this game will be doing much more than just a normal Souls-like. What Caesar said, it seems like there are some powerful spells like right here.
We have nukes. We have nukes, meteor showers, all that spicy thing.
We have some crazy stuff.
Yeah, dude said nukes. Could you imagine dropping a nuke? Now, I don't know if there's actually spells that are as powerful as a nuke, but if there is, that's cool to have, giving the player much more creativity in how they want to play and how they want to conquer certain areas or how they want to manage certain bosses. Just giving the player the creativity to be and fight the way they want to. It's something that's sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes rare. But besides powerful magic attacks, there's also ranged attacks, which obviously we would know. And then there's also a bunch of buffs. I'm assuming there's going to be summons. I mean, it seems like magic is going to play a heavy hand in this game. But like they said several times, melee is still the focus. And speaking of melee, like they said right here.
So for the fluidity as well, sorry to harp on this.
Oh, it's okay.
I love it. Saul mentioned something very awesome, which is our heavy attacks. Holds you into place, you have to commit, and then you miss and you get frustrated, therefore you're not going to use it. And currently, as the game works, our heavy attacks are just as fast as light attacks. The difference is that you can hold them. So it's really up to you to learn the delivery speed.
It seems like the movement for weapons are going to be very, very fluid, which is what we need. We need fluid movement in this game. We need fluid movement in any Dark Souls-like game. But as soon as he said that heavy attacks don't really exist like they do, but they're just charged quick attacks, I immediately thought, holy crap, this is going to make PvP so much fun. And you can tell they didn't dive too much into PvP, I'm assuming because they don't want everyone to know that much about PvP, at least in this interview. But almost everything he talks about in this, I was like, man, could you imagine that in PvP? I'm kind of a big PvP guy. I can't wait to see how they implement PvP in this game. Going back to the weapons, they said that there are 12 different families of weapons with dozens, as he says right here.
So in terms of families, we have 12 families of weapons, which that means like a full set of of different types of attacks, strength, speeds, reaches, etc. And then within each of those, we have like dozens and dozens of variety of weapons.
Dozens of weapon variations in each family of weapons. And something that I thought was very, very cool, you can combo any weapon. So you can combo 2 heavies, you can combo a small and a heavy, you can combo a dagger and a hammer, like a giant mallet. Obviously you can do something like this in, say, Elden Ring, but it's just nice that other games are also implementing this. It's funny because as soon as this guy said, yeah, you can walk around with 2 giant axes, I immediately thought of Asmongold. 100% how he's gonna defeat this game if he plays it. He's just gonna walk around and jump attack with 2 giant axes. This I actually thought was a really cool take, and it's actually something that you can see the seeds of it in the original Lords of the Fallen, and that is the fluid changing between dual wielding or one-handed or two-handed attacks. From how it sounds like you can easily go from swinging with two-handed to immediately switching to 2 in your hand if you have the stamina for it. And I really liked how he said that it's going to be a constant battle between, obviously it's a challenge, but it's a battle between fighting enemies, making sure that you can attack them, or making sure that you have enough stamina, or if you run out of it, you can still defeat him because you can parry him or you can stamina break him, which could leave you vulnerable for another attack. Another thing I just want to quickly touch up on, some of these fights looked super cool. They didn't show many boss fights, which again, that's understandable, but just this dude right here, like, this guy's probably gonna get annoying eventually, depending on how many times you have to fight him. But this was cool. Like, just the amount of regular enemies that have really cool attacks. Now, this guy could be a mini boss, but just the cool amount of attacks and very unique style of attacks. And you know that the people that are super into lore are going to be diving deep into this game because every single attack, from what they said right here,
is very heavy on the theology of the cosmos and the entities that grant one type of magic to those that do the bidding and respect the ritual. So we're super heavy in lore and stuff like that. Let's say every magic type, it has a patron saint, let's say.
That is magical attack. Seems like it is connected to a certain Catholicism or whatever you want to call it, or religion or whatever that is connecting to them. So they get more power or they get cooler powers that are strictly balanced for that certain thing that they believe in. So this obviously, well, it's not obvious, but to me, it looks like the nails from the cross or all the thorns. And I mean, obviously there are a bunch of different cults or whatever you want to call it in this. I'm not 100% sure what they call it in this, but there are a bunch of different groups or factions that have different spells or different magic abilities connected to them. So the lore hunters in this are going to have a lot of fun, I can already tell. And they even said that they dove super deep into the lore of this game, so I might even enjoy it as well. Honestly, hearing this made me feel so good about this game.
We wanted the fantasy of the man in armor that kind of weaves and bobs, so it's not just turns on a dime, but at the same time we want the character as responsive as possible, so we had to kind of find a good balance between feeling like a realistic guy.
This might be a small thing that made me feel good, but just hearing them say the idea of a man, meaning like, we know you want to play as a BA, and so we're gonna let you play as a BA. You're not gonna be some stupid 25-year-old dude who cares about emotions or something dumb like that. No, you're in this world to be a BA. You're defeating demons. You are going to be the ideal image of a Doom-esque just Sigma Chad. And that's something that I'm not gonna like. I don't know why it was cool, but I was just like, oh, finally, finally, we can play some character that is just a BA out the gate, or can eventually become a BA, you know what I mean? There's so many games out there where the main characters are just like, oh no, I did this thing, it's gonna scar me. No, I really hope, it doesn't matter male or female either, by the way. Create a female character in this, she will be like, what? Scar you? What are you talking about? Pick up your weapon and destroy that dude. All right, so that's everything that I saw in this video that I thought was super, super cool. I'm so glad that I caught this video on IGN because it really did make my worries of this game disappear. I never once canceled the pre-order. It's still pre-ordered. I like physical copies, so I'm pre-ordering the physical. But man, watching this, it truly made me see like 2 things for sure. Number one, that they actually fixed those things like you guys said. And thank you for telling me that they did fix them, because that's what actually made me go and look and see if there were any videos at all about them talking about the fixings. The second thing is just seeing the passion in their faces when they were talking about their game, and you can tell that they genuinely care. And you can also tell that the only thing that they truly care about when it comes to this game, that the game is awesome and that you're gonna have fun. And I feel like when devs focus on those 2 things, some of the greatest games of all time are created. I don't want to harp on it too much, but I'll go back to Halo. 1, 2, and 3, a little bit of 4, but 1, 2, and 3, the only thing they cared about was an amazing experience and for you to have fun. And that's why those games, and also the old COD, and like I said, games like Dead Rising, they took chances, they didn't care, they had fun, they thought cool, and you know what? Just have fun. That's the only thing they cared about. They truly made some of the greatest games of all time. And also the team at Baldur's Gate. They created one of the greatest games of all time. And of course, Elden Ring as well. Of course, like, don't get me wrong, there are companies out there that still do this, but it is rare and too far between. So it was just really nice to see that there is finally yet another company out here on our small little pool of companies that genuinely cares and wants to make a good product. So now I only have one question. After watching this video, did all of your small little gripes or worries disappear about the game? Please comment below, let me know. But that's gonna be it for me today, guys. All right, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Like what you saw and want to see more, feel free to hit that subscribe button, finger the notification bell. I'll keep up with all my uploads. Comment down below, guys. Tell me what you thought of this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.